The Chief Who Challenged the Ancestors, an African legendary folk tale. Long ago, in the great land of Umueze Kingdom, the ancestors were honored above all things. Their shrines stood tall under the sacred Iroko tree, their names were sung in festivals, and their wisdom guided every chief who ruled. But power has a way of testing a man's heart. Chief Obierika, the new leader of Umueze Kingdom, was a brave man, a warrior, who fought many battles and brought peace to his people. The kingdom loved him, and the drums of praise echoed through the hills. Yet deep inside him, pride began to grow like a stubborn weed. One morning, the village priest, Umueze, came to the palace carrying a calabash filled with white chalk and kola nuts. He bowed before the chief and said, "My chief, the ancestors are restless. They demand the yearly sacrifice at the sacred grove." Chief Obierika frowned. "Every year, every season always sacrifices. I am the ruler now. Do they not see that the kingdom prospers because of me?" Umueze's eyes widened in fear. "My chief, the ancestors gave us this land. Without them, the rivers would dry, and the yam barns would empty. You must not speak against them." But Chief Obierika only laughed. "Tell the ancestors that Chief Obierika now rules Umueze Kingdom, and not them." The priest's hands trembled. He placed the chalk down and whispered, "A man who mocks the spirits invites their shadow into his house." And with that, he left the palace, his heart heavy with dread. Days passed, and the time came for the great harvest festival, the most sacred time in Umueze Kingdom. Every family brought yams, palm wine, and goats as offerings to the shrine, but the chief refused to attend. Instead, he called for a feast of his own, louder, brighter, and filled with laughter. As the people danced, thunder rumbled in the clear sky. The sacred torch at the ancestral shrine suddenly went out, though no wind had touched it. Umueze ran to the chief's palace shouting, "The ancestors have turned their backs on us." But Obierika waved his hand and said, "Let them rest. We need no old bones ruling our future." That night, a strange silence covered the village. Not even the crickets sang. At midnight, the palace guards heard whispers in the wind. They looked around, no one was there. Suddenly, the sacred drum that only the ancestors could beat began to play by itself. Dum, dum, dum. The guards ran inside to tell the chief, but when they entered, they froze. There, sitting on the chief's throne, was an old man they had never seen before, dressed in white cloth, his eyes glowing like moonlight. The man spoke softly, "Obierika, son of Umueze, do you remember the oath your father swore?" Chief Obierika rose in anger. "Who dares sit on my throne?" The old man smiled sadly. "This is not your throne. It belongs to the spirit of justice. You have broken the bond of the living and the dead." Before the chief could answer, lightning flashed through the window and the old man vanished, leaving behind the smell of burning chalk. The next morning, strange things began to happen. The village well water turned red, like a palm wine. Crops started to wither even though the rain fell. Children woke in the night crying that voices called their names. The elders gathered at the palace and begged the chief, "Please, make peace with the ancestors before it is too late." But Chief Obierika, proud and angry, shouted, "You all fear shadows. I will show you that a man's strength is greater than any spirit." He then declared that he would enter the sacred grove himself and destroy the shrine that the ancestors used to control the kingdom. The villagers gasped. No living soul had ever dared enter that grove, not even the priest. That night, under a full moon, Chief Obierika marched toward the sacred grove with two of his bravest warriors. They carried torches, machetes, and charms around their necks. The forest was alive, the wind howled like voices crying, and the trees seemed to move. Birds of the night screamed and flew overhead. Ezenwa, the priest, stood far behind and shouted, "Obierika, turn back. No man challenges his ancestors and returns the same." But the chief did not listen. He raised his torch and entered the grove. Inside, the air was cold and heavy. Statues of the ancient chiefs stood in a circle, their eyes carved from black stone. In the center was the sacred shrine, glowing faintly. Chief Obierika spat on the ground and said, "If you have power, ancestors, show it now." Then he raised his machete and brought it down upon the shrine. The ground shook, the torch went out, a deep, angry voice echoed through the darkness. "You have called upon us, and now you will see." To be continued in Part 2, where Chief Obierika faces the wrath of the ancestors. The spirits rise, and the kingdom of Equete trembles. Will he beg for mercy, or be judged forever? Subscribe now, so you don't miss Part 2 of this powerful African legendary folktale.